Hi. um, I guess I wanted to make a video discussing different classics and the editions that they come in, and I guess my view on which editions are perhaps more enjoyable to read, provide a better reading experience, prettier perhaps, if all we care about is vanity. But yeah, I would say that I'm a book collector and that the editions that my books come in are very important, especially for classics, because I feel as though as a collector I have a specific view on what type of edition a book should correspond with. So like for example, um when I buy Dickens, I want it to be in the Everyman's Library editions just because I feel as though that correlates best with his work. I just see that as being good. I wouldn't ever buy like Jane Austen from the Everyman's Library editions. It doesn't fit the image of what I almost as though like what I expect. I want the book to emulate the edition that it's in, which is what I feel like some of these books I'm going to show actually really do, and just a general reading experience, just how the books hold up and such. So let's start with some paperbacks. Okay, let's start with these. These are the Rhodes Classics. Oh, and I'll just be showing one book from each uh, collection or publishing house or series that they've produced, just for ease. These are from Rhodes Classics, right? This is my edition of Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. The reason why I bought this edition in Jane Eyre is because I was struggling to decide what I wanted my Wuthering Heights to be, like my Jane Eyre. Because these are staples in any like person's library, right? And I was struggling, and they're very minimalist, very simplistic. However, there's something so attractive about them. They look very sleek and they look very beautiful next to each other. Now, some pros and cons. The introduction, there is one. It's very short for both Wuthering Heights and Jane Eyre. One thing I dislike is the fact that the pages, they're definitely white pages, which it's... for me personally, it's not something... It doesn't necessarily bother me, it's more so just kind of like a shock to see white pages. But I mean, the books are nice because you can bend them flat open and they won't really ruin the spine. So yeah, they are of a smaller format in terms of length. But yeah, all in all, they hold up pretty well. They have what do you call it? French flaps, I think. But yeah, they're okay. If you enjoy the style and you don't mind white pages, then definitely go for them. Next we have these are probably my favourite editions of classics, to be honest, and they're just the regular Penguin Black classics. So here we have Das Bürger Zarathustra by Nietzsche, which is one of my top 3 favourite books of all time, coincidentally. I love these editions so much. They provide so much context, especially into literature which you may not have explored as much before. Always provide nice detail about the author, and then like the introductions I also find are usually pretty good. I feel as though that's very important if you're not just reading in terms of if you don't just want to read a work just for the enjoyment, if you actually want to gain some contextual understanding. I feel as though these editions do that perfectly, like absolutely perfectly. Yeah, they hold up really nice. I love the look of them, especially like when you have a whole shelf of them. I think it's so beautiful. They look so sleek. A lot of people think that they're ugly. I don't know why. I feel like these are beautiful editions. But yeah, I feel like overall, if I were to recommend one edition of classics, it would be these. Like definitely, I adore these editions so much. So yeah, these are always a safe bet to go for. Sometimes keep in mind that translation matters, and so if you do really want to get I guess if you're reading like ancient literature and that's where like translation comes into play a lot, you might want to consider more so like the translator than necessarily like the publishing house or the editions that they're in. But yeah, in terms of general reading, I love Penguin Classics so much, adore them. Then we have these. These are the vintage classics by Virago, I believe. Not sure actually. So here we have The Collector by John Fowles. Love this edition. This is why I bought this one, because I love this cover. Like, that's a whole different video. These have red spines, which are like quite the iconic, vintage Virago classics. Are these even Virago? I don't see Virago anywhere. I don't know why I'm thinking they're Virago. Are they? No. Apparently they're just vintage, so cool. These ones are good. I feel as though they don't, from what I remember, they don't really have introductions. Yeah, they don't have introductions, or at least not on the books which I've read thus far from this publishing house. Which, I mean, for books like this, it's okay, but for if you want to get, but as I said like before, if you want a more holistic view, if you want contextual information, maybe these aren't the ones. In terms of holding up, they do hold up very well. I will say that, very much so, like greatly bound. Of course, like with all paperbacks, like at some point the pages will turn more yellow, but mine haven't experienced that, and I've had this for over a year now. I do like tend to keep my classics away from the sunlight though, just, you know, for general preservation. But yeah, in terms of these, they're okay. These aren't my go-tos, but if they have like especially beautiful covers, or they're like perhaps the only editions that certain novels are sold in, then yeah, I really don't mind them. So yeah. Next are these. These are the Oxford World Classics, and here we have The Girl with the Golden Eyes, Another Story is by Balzac. I adored this, just like as a side note. This was absolutely beautiful. I found this in this like lovely little like classics bookshop in Marylebone, which is like my favourite place in the world, and it was what I got it for £3.50. So yeah, still it's like new condition, but I adore that place so much. I want to be buried. God, I'm morbid. This was beautiful. Everyone should read this. Amazing. These 3 stories like actually just blew my mind. In terms of these editions, I really enjoyed them. They provide introductions which are also very good, just as the Penguin Black Classics do. I feel as though they are quite pretty as editions. I know that some people prefer these to the Penguin Black Classics. For me personally, just like in terms of aesthetics, I prefer the Penguin, but in terms of World Classics, definitely great publishing house. I mean, they're published by like Oxford, so like of course they're gonna be great. But in terms of they even have like explanatory notes and all of that type of stuff, which is really great. So yeah, if you're like just interested in literature and you want some like nice contextual information, but you don't want to listen to like an hour-long video about the author that you're reading, then this would be great. Love these editions. I don't have that many since, as I said, they're not my go-to ones, but yeah, I enjoy them. Next we have the Penguin Modern Classics. These used to have white spines, but they recently released these turquoise ones, which I'm actually not really a fan of. I don't see the point. I think the white looks so much more sleek, but I mean, well. Here we have Bonjour Tristesse by Sagan, and this has Bonjour Tristesse, and it has A Certain Smile. Adored both works, like absolutely devoured. This is so influential. It's such an iconic novel. Both of them are iconic novels. Like, oh, honestly, so iconic. In terms of these editions, I feel like they're quite good. Of course, the spine does bend, but that comes with any paperbacks. For me, like bending of spines, it's something which I try to definitely avoid. It irks me with my classics. I feel as though like with my like modern books, less so. But especially with my classics, it bothers me so much. I don't know, I have this thing about preserving my classics. It's a weird obsession. But yes, so these do, like, since they're by Penguin, they also have introductions. These are great. I mean, they're also by Penguin, so, you know, similar type of vibe going on here. So in terms of if you're looking for modern classics, Penguin is definitely the way to go. These are great. They hold up pretty well, as that you'd accept with a paperback. The pages are nice, everything is pretty nice. Yeah, highly recommend these. And last of the paperbacks, we have these. These are the Penguin English Libraries, and I actually only have this from the series, and this is Monmouth the Wanderer by Charles Maturin. These are cool. They always have illustration, or at least they used to. I'm not sure if they do anymore, but they at least used to have illustrations of the authors on the front cover, which is like a nice detail. These, I feel as though the pages in these, I was going to say that they feel a bit thin, but I guess they feel okay. The great thing about these is that they are very inexpensive, so they're cheap, which is great if you're like looking to buy books on a budget, because I understand that books tend to be expensive in the long run. I mean, if you're spending £8 or £9 on a book in a bookshop, that can add up really easily if you're buying like 3 or 4 books like every so often. But like say this like huge book was only like what, £5.99, really cheap. And a lot of people love this series because they like the spines. Personally, the spines, I don't see any. I'm not really a fan of like colour. I don't know. I prefer a sleek look, like, which is why I love my penguins. But these are okay. These are also penguins, but the other penguins. I feel like the cover, it's very nice. It has this very nice feeling on it, which kind of feels like my waterproof backpack. It's almost like, I don't even know this material, but it has a very interesting feel. And what is nice about it is that sometimes when covers have a different type of texture, you can tend to see fingerprints on them, and that looks quite ugly. But you can't really see it on these editions. Perhaps it's because they're in like bright colours, which is a good move on Penguin, because it would be so horrible if you would be able to just see fingerprints all over the book. But yes, it's Penguin. You can't really go wrong with Penguin, to be honest. So if you enjoy these editions, definitely go for them. They're inexpensive. They look nice when they're all together, I guess. And yeah, they're nice. Now, onto the hardbacks. So let's start with one of my favourite series of all time in terms of published series or like collections. This is who is this? Penguin Classics, of course. They never do me dirty. This is the Fitzgerald like hardback collection. Here we have Flappers and Philosophers. I only have Flappers and Philosophers and The Great Gatsby in this collection, but I really want to like accumulate all of them at some point and read all of them, obviously. This collection is so gorgeous, and this is what I love. They perfectly represent the 20s. Absolutely. So incredibly gorgeous. The only thing is that these stickers on the back, I'm pretty sure that you can't really take them off, because once you... Oh, maybe you can. I know that with my Great Gatsby one, I wasn't able to take the sticker off the back because it started ripping. Oh look, here we go. Okay, I bought this like quite a while after my Great Gatsby, and I know that a lot of people are having the issue of not being able to rip the sticker off the back of the book because it would just simply rip the dust jacket. But I guess that they changed that now, which is really good on Penguin. Thanks Penguin for like listening to your consumers. That's great. But yeah, these editions perfectly reflect Fitzgerald's world. Amazing, absolutely beautiful, stunning. On the end pages, on the back, you even have this like bookmark which you like could rip off if you wanted to and use. Absolutely beautiful, like crafted. They're amazing. What else do we have here? We have notes, introductions, as what you'd expect with Penguin. The pages open up beautifully. The writing isn't too small. They're amazing. You can't go wrong with these. They're absolutely stunning, especially when you have the whole collection lined up. Absolutely stunning. So highly recommend investing into them if you're interested in like book collecting. Next we have also by Penguin Classics. These are the cloth-bound classics, which if I'm correct, I might be wrong here, but their designs are the same as in their cover designs by Corey Bickford-Smith. I think that's her name. They're the same for the English Library as well as the cloth-bound classics. So here we have The Pearl by John Steinbeck, and these editions are a bit problematic because they're cloth-bound and on top is printed these designs, but I've noticed that I'm quite afraid to really take these like out with me, or just like even to like properly read and use, because I have to be very careful of them, because I feel like these printings come off really easily. That's what I've noticed with my Pride and Prejudice edition, and so I feel as though they're absolutely gorgeous, but they're not very sustainable in the long run. And if you're one of those people who really wants to like take your book with you everywhere you go and you don't plan on having like multiple copies, or you just want to have something for a long time and be able to reread it and like be quite rough with your books, these definitely aren't the editions for that. I feel like that's the major downfall. I wish that something could be done to make them more durable, but I mean, it's the cost of having like these beautiful editions, I guess. I mean, they feel amazing because it is this cloth bound material, which is lovely. And they're really nice. I mean, as books, like, once again, you have the page color is nice. You also have like illustrations every so often, which is nice on Penguin to include. You have a bookmark too, which is great. These aesthetically are amazing. In terms of durability, perhaps not. But if you don't mind being more careful with your books, then sure, I'll go for these. I feel as though like I'm one of those people who's generally careful with my literature and my books and how I keep them and maintain them. I think this is okay. Okay, next. I love these editions so much. This is, I feel as though, the best bang for your buck that you can get in terms of literature. These are the Everyman Library editions. So here we have Dostoevsky's The Brothers Karamazov, and these editions are absolutely beautiful. First thing to note is that when you take off the dust jacket, you have, oh my god, it's gorgeous, gorgeous hardbacks, and the colour on the hardback represents the time period from which they're from. So you have like, I've seen like navy green before, I've seen these beautiful burgundy, which is such a nice aspect, which it shows the attention to detail. And these, okay, this one retails at £15, which may seem more expensive than the other ones, but compared to like the £8 or £9 that you would pay for a paperback in terms of retail price, it's not that much of a increase in costs. And so we have this the material, the texture for the dust jacket. It's very, very nice. It feels very sleek, very smooth. And then the paper, it's not necessarily thin. It's very nice. It's very soft paper, which that's so nice to be able to experience. In all honesty, just soft, nice paper. They have introductions, and what I like about these Everyman's Libraries editions, I might be wrong here. I might be very wrong, but I believe that they're printed on acid-free paper. Once again, that might be completely false, but I think I've heard that, which means that they like won't really turn yellow over time, which is great if they do. If they don't, they also have a bookmark, which is nice. I love these editions. They're absolutely amazing. Hold up so well. Very, very durable. If you're into hardbacks and you want to start a collection, definitely recommend these. They look very nice on the shelf, very sleek once they're all next to each other. Yeah, these are definitely great. Highly recommend. Next, I only have one book from this series, but I wanted to include it just because it's a very unique series, which not a lot of people talk about, and that's the Penguin Horror Classics. These are very interesting. So the spine is completely black, and you have the Penguin Horror in blue, the white colour of the font. Here's the cover. As you can see, some parts of the cover are reflective, which is a cool aspect, and it feels, once again, it's this almost like suede-y, it's not suede, but this very, very nice material on the front cover, which I was saying before how you can sometimes see fingerprints. Honestly, I can't really see any fingerprints on this book, which, it's nice. It's a nice feature because it shows the quality went into it, and pages are black. And actually, the sides are also black, which is really cool. It's a really cool addition. On the back we have a quote, "You're my creator, but I am your master, obey." Iconic. Frankenstein is so iconic as a novel. Honestly, love it. And it's only £15, which once again, it's a lot to spend on a book. But given the quality of this, if you're getting this as a gift for someone, like, absolutely. I actually haven't read this edition of it, so I can't say about how much the end pages like wear down. But what I can say is, okay, this I'm not sure if this annoys me or not. I don't think this annoys me. It's, well, okay. When you look at the pages, on the sides of the pages, you actually have this grey shadow or shading, which is a really cool aspect because it kind of feels like you're reading something old, or it just has that horror vibe, which is really cool actually. Okay, I think I don't mind that. What I don't like, however, is the fact that on the side it says like Mary Shelley and then Frankenstein. That I don't really enjoy. It's unnecessary to have it on the sides. I know that it's something cool and unique and different, but it annoys me a bit. But I don't think that would annoy the average book reader, so yeah. These editions are great. Once again, always go for Penguin whenever you can. They're amazing. I have nothing bad to say about Penguin. I stand them so hard. Next, we have these editions. I actually only got this today, but I thought I should include it because I'm so happy to own these, like, own a book from this publishing house, because this is the Library of America edition. You might have seen these around from time to time, however they are much less popular, especially I think like in Europe, since it is the Library of America. They're so cool as a publishing house, because I was reading this little like postcard that comes along in the book, which is so cool by the way. It's so old fashioned, I love it. And essentially it talks about how they're a non-profit publishing house which just wants to put in the efforts into preserving literature written by great American novelists? Great American authors? So this is the one that I have. It's Galbraith, and I essentially just stumbled upon this when I was looking for literature that I should be reading for economics before going to uni, and I stumbled upon him, and I was looking into buying some work of his, and I didn't really find much, especially not in like really nice editions. I don't know. I didn't find much from him, so I saw this, and it's just an anthology of all of his work, and I thought, well, if I'm going to read him, I might as well have a holistic view of all of his ideas and not just like some in isolation. So I thought, sure, why not support this amazing non-profit which does really cool things. An interesting thing is that on the inside of the dust jacket, he actually has all of the other books that they publish and like how much it costs in dollars and everything, it's so cool. It feels so old-fashioned how one of the books how you used to have on the back of books like the other books that the publishing house actually does publish, and how you can like order them in there, like order numbers and stuff. Just reminds me of that, which feels quite old-fashioned. It's a nice feeling. However, the one thing I will say is that when I received this, I was quite shocked because this looks quite thin to me. Like, this looks, what, like 400 pages? 400 pages? This is over 1,000. This is the thing though. With these editions, this is very much so Bible paper. It's very, very, very thin. And you can see the text through the sheets of paper. Personally, I don't know if I mind. I guess the feeling of Bible paper has like some type of nostalgia. Not sure if it's good or bad. So that's that. If this doesn't concern you, then sure, please support them. They're amazing. This, like, as a company, Library of America, that they're amazing. The fact that they put in efforts, the fact that they're non-profit. Amazing. Support them. Great publishing house. And last but definitely not least, my loves, this publishing house. Oh my god. Absolutely adore them. I want to buy so many books from them, but they are so expensive. Especially the new Game of Thrones ones. So expensive, but so worth it. I think I'm gonna buy them for myself once they come out. But it is the Folio Society. Here we have Descartes, and we have Meditations and Other Writings. This edition, just bought it because I'm very, very interested in philosophy and such, and yeah. But when I saw this, like, I was never really like, oh yeah, I really want to read Descartes like ASAP, like I am with Schopenhauer, who I really, really, really want to read ASAP. Descartes was someone who I knew of, but I never really have had like an incentive to like want to like, instantly pick up. But then I saw this edition and I fell in love. Folio, okay. Let's talk about Folio. First of all the books come in slipcases, which is amazing, and like in terms of like maintaining the books and the pages. Oh, the pages are bound in a way. I think it's every 12 or 16 pages. They're bound. I'm not too certain about the mechanics of bookbinding and what's best, but I know that they're bound in a way in which it means that you are so much less likely to have pages fall out, which is cool. I've never personally experienced that, but I know that over time that does happen. The pages are acid free, meaning that yes, they won't turn yellow, which is so cool. The pages are so thick. They're so thick. Thicker disease. That's how thick they are. Which means that they will definitely hold up. They feel very nice. These books feel of such high quality. So you're probably so eager to see this amazing Descartes. Okay, here's the front. My camera like doesn't show how beautiful like all these colours are in reality. It's so gorgeous. Also, the mirror. Okay, just this attention to detail. The fact that the book itself, the front cover, is quite matte, but then the mirror, it's reflective, it's shiny. Oh my god, that's amazing! Like, Folio, I love you. And then on the back, we have this. So, oh my god, is that not just the coolest cover design you've ever seen? And then the spine is beautiful, this beautiful grey with this gold on it. Just this whole aesthetic is gorgeous. And then these burgundy end papers, I mean, do you want me to have an aneurysm? Oh my god. So incredibly gorgeous. And let's talk about the illustrations in Folio books, because I feel as though what I really like about Folio is because I follow them on Instagram now, just because keeping updated with them because I love them. They really pay a lot of attention to the illustrators that they use and actually putting in efforts into like recruiting new illustrators, people like getting into the business, or like people who aren't necessarily like just well-known illustrators. That's what I love about them. Like, I think they hold competitions on illustrations. I'm not sure about that, but I really, really respect them for their sincerity, I guess. But yeah, let's look at some of these. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Always love Folio. Just, I mean, and not to say that they don't have more famous illustrators. They had what's his name? Quentin Blake. He illustrated Animal Farm, which I have on me right now. So yeah, they Folio Society is absolutely amazing. If you want to give someone a gift, definitely get Folio books. Oh my god, they'll be so happy, especially if they're a book lover. In terms of the cover art, I feel as if Folio, like, sometimes the cover art's a bit ugly. I'm not going to lie. I'm personally like not. I don't look at their edition of Pride and Prejudice and think, oh, it's gorgeous. It's a bit ugly, but I feel as if that's kind of their aesthetic sometimes. I mean, sometimes like ugly is a bit of their aesthetic, but their Letters of Van Gogh, gorgeous, absolutely. That's how that book should have been published. Exactly how it should have been published. Need to invest into that. Also, the Game of Thrones, amazing, absolutely gorgeous. What else do we have? They publish a lot of limited edition stuff too, which I will never forgive myself for not buying their limited edition Lolita. It was only £60, and now no one's selling it at all. I've been trying to find anyone who even owns it to like buy it from them for like extortionate prices, but no one really has it that I can find, and no one really wants to sell it if they do have it, which sucks. I keep on pestering them on Instagram, like, do you want to bring back Lolita by any chance? although I do watch people on YouTube talk about folio books, a lot of them do say that don't waste money buying out of stock limited edition folio books because they tend to like bring them back every so often. So I'm waiting for that. Hopefully Folio please bring back Lolita or anything by Nabokov because he is my everything. So thanks for watching this, if anyone watches it. I just talked for half an hour about book publishing. I have no life.